Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to the Traversing the Stars podcast. How are my loyal listeners? Thank you for your continued support. As always, smash that subscribe button, everybody. We have an amazing show for you all because boarding the mothership is Martie Marie Blair. She stars as young 11 in Stranger Things. Now come join me as we go traversing the stars. Hello, Martie. Thank you so much for coming to the Traversing the Stars podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's completely my pleasure. The Stranger Things has been a fantastic show, and season 4 has been even better.
I'm glad that you think that of Stranger Things. I agree that it is a very good show.
So I always ask about inspiration. So what made you want to become an actor?
Well, me and my siblings were enrolled in this acting summer camp type school, and we did this one part where we had managers come, and we would show what we have been learning and what we have been doing and filming, and we could get a manager if we wanted to start acting, if we thought that that was something we wanted to start doing. And my siblings first both did it, and at first I was a bit scared because I used to be really shy. But then I gave into it. I was like, this could be pretty fun. So I did it, and now I'm an actor.
That's so cool. So when did you realize how good you were at it?
Well, when I got my first role, I felt like I was really happy because it was not too far from my first audition. So that definitely made me feel like I was a bit better and good at acting, better than I was before.
That must be amazing that you got a job so quickly with very few auditions. I mean, a lot of actors who are adults takes years for them to get a big role, and already you're a star. That must be pretty cool.
Thank you. I'm really happy to get these parts because I think that this will definitely help me in future auditions and films that I will be doing. So the fact that you say I'm a star just really makes me happy.
That's cool. So do you think so do you see yourself acting 20 years from now, 30 years from now?
I want to make this a career of mine because I really like it, especially since in acting, you can make friends and it's just like a fun little role play that you can do. And sometimes they can be really fun, like they can be intense, meaning let's say you have powers like 11 did, or they could be really sad or funny or scary. Or yeah, it's just there's so many endless possibilities, and it's always fun to see what you're gonna do next.
That's cool. So one of your earliest roles, or maybe your first role, was as Bella Fisher in The Young and the Restless. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how did that part come about?
Well, I obviously did the audition, and then when my parents told me that I got the part, I was beyond happy because my siblings, they obviously went sometimes, they got some parts like for commercials and other films, and I didn't get to come on set with them, but I definitely got to hear what they had to say about it, and it was all positive. So I was able to understand what my siblings thought about it. And when I went on set, I was so excited. And it on set there was definitely really, really fun because they had me pick out my outfit, do my hair, and do everything. And it was really a good experience.
So are you and your siblings very competitive about roles, or like, I'm in The Young and the Restless, I'm in Stranger Things?
Well, I don't really point it out because it could come across as rude to some people.
Okay.
But I definitely if they ask me so what have you been? I will be really happy because they would like to know what I am doing with my like jobs and like sometimes when I'm not at school, what I could be found doing.
Now, I've interviewed adults who do soap operas, and they always tell me how difficult soap operas are to do because they have long hours and they work almost every day. They work, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. How did you deal with such a hard work schedule, especially at your age?
Well, it wasn't too hard for me because at younger age you get a younger limit. And honestly, I'm gonna be straight up honest here. I even with my mom, I thought that the hours weren't long enough. I was having so much fun and I wanted to stay the whole day.
Don't don't tell the directors that. They'll be like, "Oh, okay, next time Martie's on the show, we're gonna make her do even more hours." So, so what did you do during the long days when you were on set? Did you have classes? How did that work?
Well, I did have a class, and I would usually just use the work that my teachers would give me in a folder, and I would put it out on a desk, and I had a teacher in there who would help me. And but that wasn't for most of the time because I did go on set for a lot of it, and also like I was in my room to change, and was doing hair and makeup. But yes, I did have a class.
So, what was the hardest and most, and also the most fun part about being in a soap opera?
Well, it wasn't too hard, like I said. It was just really, really fun. But the most fun part was probably being able to meet the cast and film with them, interact, and have fun. It was just really fun and all. I really liked it.
So, there's some really great actors that were in The Young and the Restless. So, when you were acting with the adults, what did you learn from watching them on set, the more experienced actors? And was there an actor that you learned the most from?
Well, there wasn't a specific actor because it was my first role. So everybody that was on set, I was taking info and learning and probably getting better from.
So, are you able to give any, like, what kind of things did you learn from watching the other actors on set?
Like, well, how like if they need to like make like a line correction, like they would grab their lines and just quickly learn it. And I wanted to get better at that because it's hard to learn your lines.
Hmm.
And they did it like so fast. So that was really cool. And also the fact that like it's really easy for them. Like since they're really so good, it's really easy for them to get the feel of their character.
How much fun was it when you got your scripts? Were you, how exciting was it? Was it like homework, or was it like, oh, this is awesome, this is my next thing I have to do the next day?
Yeah, well, when I was done, I was all about, I can't wait to do this tomorrow or when I will be able to do it next. I was just so happy. And I think that acting is just something that I really like because it's just really fun. I get to meet new people, make new friends, and it's just, I really like doing it.
So, after Young and the Restless, you get to be Young 11 on Stranger Things season 4. That must have been one of the coolest things ever. I will say, there are a lot of people like me who couldn't wait for that season to come out. So, how exciting was it when you found out that you were going to be Young 11 in Stranger Things 4?
Okay, I have been a fan of this show since I was 4.
Really?
I know it seems like really scary to people even older than me sometimes, but I don't know. I just had this one thing, and I have it, this, what I'm going to say next, not too far from me, but obviously I'm not going to go off camera. But I even had this one stuffy of the Demogorgon or Demodog
Oh, wow.
that I love so much because apparently he used to be my favorite character.
So the show didn't give you nightmares or anything? That show it is scary.
Well, I'm sure it maybe gave me nightmares, I mean, at some time, but I don't think that they're from the show because the nightmares I used to have, either I don't remember them or the ones that I do remember, it has nothing to do with the show. So I don't think that the show gave me nightmares, and I thought that it was just super entertaining for me, and I really liked it.
So when you were watching the show before you knew you had the role, did you always imagine yourself being Young 11? Like, were you pretending to be Young 11 just for fun?
Actually, yes. had this dress that was pink enough to look like her dress how she used to wear.
Mhm.
And then I put my jean jackets and I would just go around pretending like I'm her.
So you've been preparing to be young 11 then for years. And that's very cool.
And the funny part is my brother has like a bunch of, we're like 2 8 balls. And so I used to go in his room and take one and say, will I get a really big part when I grow up that I will cherish forever? And it said, like, I don't know, we'll find out. I forget what it like directly said, but I think it said either something like that or ask again later.
So the Magic 8 Ball was definitely correct then, right?
I guess so.
So when you were auditioning for Stranger Things, did you know it was for the part of young 11, or did you just thought it was a character on the show?
I think I did know. So I was I was at my house with a friend when my mom told me, and from what I remember, I think that she did say that you have an audition for Stranger Things. But I think when I was filming like the audition, I think that's when she said it was like, 11. So you know how she acts, even watching it for like ever.
So did you tell them that you were watching it forever, or like when you were auditioning, was the lady surprised and you're like, "Oh, young 11, I know 11 very well. Been watching the show for years."
Well, when I was doing the scenes, like they were like, all right, so do this, do that. And I already, since I've been role playing or doing her since I was, 4, I got a feel of, okay, I know she has telekinesis. So this will happen and that will happen. And all I was thinking about is, will I get the bloody nose?
That's awesome. So when you finally got the part, how excited were you when they're like, when you got the phone call that you're going to be young 11?
Okay. So my mom even has a video of it, but I came back from school and my family was like really happy. And like I was like, "Mom, what's going on?" Cuz like I was questioning because I just got picked up from school and my mom's like over the top excited. So when I went home, they called my manager and she told me, and I was so happy because I didn't know who I was going to meet. If I was going to meet some of my favorite characters, favorite actors, since it's been my favorite show. And I was just like really scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this. When is this happening? And I was shaking. I was crying on the floor.
So did you believe it immediately? Were you like, oh, also, did you for a little while, you're like, is this a dream? Is this really happening? I need to wake up.
I believed it immediately because I don't think that my manager or my parents would lie about something like that or make a joke because they know how that show means to me, and getting the audition even made me happy.
So when you found out you were going to be young 11, what did they tell you about the part? Like, did they give you any pointers like, this is kind of where she is, like mentally at this point in her time? Like, what did they tell you?
Well, they didn't really tell me that. I was kind of confused, but I did know that I was going to be playing young version. But especially from watching the show, I was like, all right, am I going to be in the Hawkins lab or something? Because, that's where she goes through and then she escapes and gets into all the thing with Mike and everything. And so, yeah, but they didn't have to tell me much because I already knew so much about the character, but
Mm.
so definitely they told me stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I know this and I know that now. So I could put this together and make this a pretty good play to entertain people and put on Netflix.
Now, obviously, Stranger Things, because it's such a big show, there's a lot of secrecy around Stranger Things. When a new season comes out, they don't talk about it, they don't say much. When you found out that you had the role of young 11, Were you told that you can't say anything? Were you told to keep it a secret? How hard was it for you not to tell everyone you knew this is what
I
was
think
happening?
we had to sign like a waiver so that like they understand that we won't tell anybody. And I couldn't tell anybody. And the problem was the day that my mom even told me that I had the audition for it, I had a friend over. And she was like, Martie, why are you so happy? Like, this is so random. And I could barely eat my ramen. I was just so happy. And then when I had to sign the waiver, again, I was just so happy because I was shook. I mean, I got the part.
Mm.
How amazing is that? So, and I couldn't tell anybody. So, like, if I were randomly happy, I would have to make up an excuse. Like, no, it was because my mom said that we'll go to Disneyland one day.
So you had to be like a writer and just think of like little stories for yourself that you had to live. That's awesome. Yeah. So when you're hanging around with your friends, like how tempting was it to be like, hey, but you can't wait to see Stranger Things season 4 coming up. That's gonna be very exciting, don't you think? I mean, like, were you like, how was it hard to keep your mouth shut on it for that long?
Well, during the time when I moved, I had like my bigger developed group of friends because I never really had a group. Like I had friends, but those friends weren't friends with my other friends. But in this other school, I had this group. So I was able to like because at this point, a lot of spoilers came out, like the film and everything. So and they saw me in one of the spoilers. And so I was able to tell them like, hey, yeah, that's me. And one of my friends is such a big fan of the show too. So
So how did it feel when it came out suddenly? You said the spoilers had come out that you're going to be young 11. How, I mean, was it weird for you when everyone started recognizing you as young 11? When your friends were like, "Oh, you're young," like, was it weird to suddenly be famous?
well, it was definitely weird because when my sister had friends over, they would like be like, "Is this you?" And then have the photo on their screen, and I didn't know like, should I say yes or should I say I guess so or something different. But it was definitely really fun to see that I was in a spoiler because that was my only spoiler that I was in. I wasn't in any of the other ones. So seeing me in that was just it made me blush. It was like so funny because I was getting ready for school and my parents just showed me and I was like
That's cool. So
so
when you played young 11, everyone knows that older 11, I guess older 11 we'll call her for now, is played by Millie Bobby Brown, who once again fantastic actress in her own right. So when you got the role of young 11 and you first started doing the part, did you talk to Millie about the part before you played it? What did she say about it?
well, I didn't talk to her before I originally played it, but when we were on set, like still on, campus, we had lunch together at lunchtime. So that was really fun and I got to speak to her and especially since she's been like my favorite actor, it was so hard. Like I was so shy because I mean, she's just such a good actor and I really loved working with her. But we talked that time and she did give me directions because on set when we were filming one of the scenes where I guess let's say I was killing one um, she coached me in it a bit, and since she's been, this character for like 7 years, I'd say she knows she's the best of the best. She knows everything. So the fact that she went to coach me really that made me super happy because especially getting coached from her, I thought that would definitely help me with my career and in future films.
So when you were performing with Millie Bobby Brown or playing young 11, what kind of coaching things did she tell you about the part and what to do?
Well, she told me like that I had to like put like a really loud type of scream because I mean doing the telekinesis took probably a lot of 11, a lot of like, energy out of her. So I had to like show that I was stressed and that I just wanted to get this over with and that I was angry and mad and sad and just it was really helpful of her and I'm very thankful that she put the time into doing that and it was really nice.
I think that's fantastic. Like I said, I think it's really great to see that you learned a lot from the older Millie Bobby Brown as well, the older 11. I think that's fantastic. I think that makes it's even better to watch you guys do the parts together.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got to meet Millie Bobby Brown in person, and I'm sure you had been thinking about it, what it was going to be like to meet her, probably even before you got this part. Was she as cool to meet in person as you thought she was going to be?
Yes, she's very nice, very sweet, and super kind. So meeting her again, like, just really was fun because, like I said, when I was 4 and like when I was 5, I was pretending to like be her, and now I actually got like a time to actually be her and even meet her. So that was really fun and exciting.
Now, how challenging was it to play Young 11? Because you're not just playing Young 11, you're playing Millie Bobby Brown, playing 11's version of younger. You know what I'm saying? You're playing a character based on another person's portrayal of the same character. How hard was that to do?
Well, it wasn't the hardest because, again, like I've said, I've been trying to even be her since then. But being young version was also super cool, and I really liked being that part. But let's say the hardest part was probably like if we had to, I think that this was already put out where there was a mirror and Millie was on one side and I was on the other. And we had to do the same movements. And I'm pretty sure that's in volume 1, right?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
So that was probably the hardest part because not only did we have to look the same, but we also had to like, do the same exact movements, come in at the same time. And that I think you can, understand like that's pretty hard.
I imagine it would be because, like I said, you got to time as a whole nother person. That's gonna be really difficult. I read somewhere that Millie's face was kind of joined with yours through CGI. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm pretty sure, yeah, because during makeup, not only did they have to like get rid of my freckles and make me look like her, but they had to put black dots all over my face so it was easier for CGI to work on it and then I just look more like her.
So, how weird was it to have all the black dots all over your face when you're trying to act? You're trying to be young 11, you get all the dots all over your face. Was that weird?
Well, I didn't think it was much weird, but I thought it was funny because I was the only one, like out of all the numbers and everyone I was working with, I was the only one who just had these black dots on my face.
So, how cool was it when you finally saw yourself on TV in Volume 4 when it was released? How cool was it to see yourself on television doing these things?
It was, I mean, it's fun to watch yourself and see like, what you did and remember those fun and incredible times that you had. So I definitely thought that watching myself really made me happy because I think I did, decent.
I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. So watching it was very fun and definitely most part of watching myself that made me really happy was, remembering the times of filming it and how fun filming it was.
So obviously, season 4 exploded. I think season 4 is almost the biggest season that they've had. And honestly, you must be, you're all over the place, super famous. How have you been dealing with the popularity of the show for your life? Have you started thinking about doing convention shows and doing autographs and stuff?
Well, if somebody comes up and asks me for an autograph, I mean, I'll give it to them. But I mean, I just think that this is like such a dream to me because I've been an actor for quite a while now, and getting this part again and being an actor is just so fun. I loved acting. It's just a great thing, and getting this opportunity just really, really made me happy. So I really like it.
Now, my next question, if it's a spoiler, you're welcome to say I can't answer that, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But like I said, if it's a spoiler, feel free to reject the question. Will you appear in volume 2 of season 4?
I don't know.
Are you excited for it to come out? It comes out in, was it June or July 2nd? Is it? Do you know when the second volume comes out?
I think that it does come in July, but I'm pretty sure it does, but I don't know what exact day of July. But I think it's like not too far. July 1st.
July 1st. Very cool. So, Martie, I want to say it's a pleasure talking with you. I think you have a great future ahead of you. I appreciate you so much for coming to the Traversing the Stars podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a great rest of your day.